I picked up one of my dream guns here. I had some help from somebody that really wanted to help me out to, make the channel a little bit better, someone close to me. So they wanted to help me pick up my dream gun. So I ended up getting my dream gun yesterday at my local FFL. They actually had it in stock here. And this is a gun I've wanted for a really, really long time. And here we are, a nice big Smith & Wesson case. So I'm going to unbox what's in this box. You guys can see what I got here. So we have our nice protective paper there. And what we got under there is a nice Smith & Wesson revolver. This is an N frame revolver, which is their second to largest frame. And it's in 10 millimeter. This is the Smith & Wesson Model 610 10 millimeter revolver, 6 shots, and it has a 4-inch barrel. Interesting thing about this is that the cylinder is a little bit shorter because the 10 millimeter cartridge is shorter than typical revolver cartridges. So rather than just have a longer cylinder with a long cylinder throat, much like their 45 auto revolvers, they just simply made the forcing cone longer, and in doing so they had to make it a lot tougher and thicker to withstand that, being out away from the frame. And it's a 4-inch barrel, 4.0-inch barrel, but because part of that barrel actually goes inside the frame, it actually kind of gives it a sort of a snub nose like appearance, because there's a lot less barrel sticking out from the front of the frame than a typical 4-inch barrel. So this thing weighs about 42 ounces. It'll shoot 10 millimeter, and it'll also shoot 40 Smith & Wesson. But with 40 Smith & Wesson, you definitely have to use the moon clip, or else the cartridge will fall through, because 10 millimeter will head space on the cartridge mouth there, the case mouth, but 40 Smith & Wesson will not. So it came with 3 of these really good moon clips here. Very nice moon clips, and very sturdy, tough moon clips. That allows you to eject the 10 millimeter. Without the moon clip, you would not be able to eject it. So I got 3 of these ones here. Very nice moon clips. Compared to those Taurus 905 moon clips I was just messing with, these are like night and day. Very tough. Like, I can't even bend them. They're solid steel. I believe they're steel. Very, very strong moon clips. Came with 3 of those. The cylinder face is not cut for moon clips, but it holds that moon clip in there just fine. Very nice. So the reason why I wanted something like this for so long is because 10 millimeter has become pretty popular, and I made an attempt like 3-4 years ago to test 10 millimeter without getting an actual 10 millimeter pistol. I took my Glock 41, which is a 45 caliber, 45 ACP, and it has a 5.3-inch barrel. And I just simply got a conversion barrel, and then I did get a 10 millimeter magazine, because those will fit the 45 caliber frames. I did get a stronger spring and all of that. But the problem with that is, even though I had no issues with testing 10 millimeter, a lot of people had a problem with it, because I would get malfunctions. And I didn't realize at the time that people would get so angry about seeing a malfunction, but apparently a lot of the younger guys on YouTube have this they have something wrong where they cannot witness a gun malfunction, or else it drives them nuts, and then they just troll you for days. Very odd, but I wanted to get rid of having that issue. I could have went with like the M&P semi-automatics now that they have now, because those are really nice, and I like the M&P pistols. But I thought, how about I just go, beyond that, never get a malfunction, and just go with a 10 millimeter revolver. So this thing is pretty heavy, though. It is about 42, I want to say 42.6 ounces. I don't know the exact weight, because I didn't remember it exactly, but it was 42 and some odd ounces. So even though it is a heavy revolver, we still might get bullet creep from recoil, because 10 millimeter is a little bit more powerful than 9 millimeter, actually a lot more powerful. So overall, just a nice looking revolver in my opinion. I believe they have a 6.5 inch, but I love the 4-inch revolvers. I'm a big 4-inch revolver guy. I really like 4-inch revolvers. So enough talk with this. How about we do some first shots, see how this thing shoots for me. Another good thing about a revolver like this is, if you want to do a lot of shooting and you want it to be fun, this is actually a pretty economical option if you can acquire the gun, because the ammo itself is kind of cheaper to shoot than a lot of other options. Like, you could go with a 44 mag, 357 mag revolver, And yeah, those are fun to shoot, but the ammo is kind of cost prohibitive. Even if you go with 38 special, sometimes the ammo can be kind of expensive and it doesn't really have a lot of energy. With something like this, you can actually shoot 40 Smith & Wesson ammo in it, which is cheaper than 38 special ammo, and you get more recoil, you get more power on steel and everything like that. So you actually get a lot of bang for your buck if you want to shoot a lot of rounds through a revolver. So first up, I'm going to shoot some PPU defense line ammunition. I think these are 180 grain. I did put some black marker around the case mouth and around the base of that bullet where it's exposed to see if we get any bullet creep with these. So that'll be our last round fired. So I'm 7 yards from the target. I'm just gonna fire slow, see what we get. I'm gonna take my first shot single action actually. It's got a nice target hammer on that. So let's see what we get here. All right, I'm gonna pull out this last round to see if we got any bullet creep at all, just in 2 rounds. I don't really see any, maybe a little bit. I'll keep going. All right. Impacts are a little bit left. It could just be me. And with this ammo, I don't really see any bullet creep. And this had some very low recoil. So I didn't imagine that would happen. It's kind of like shooting a 38 special, even though this is 10 millimeter ammo. I think it's because it's some really cheap ammo. So let me take one more shot here. All right. I'm going to see if these come out. I did not use the moon clip here, but yeah, those all came out pretty easy because I did actually clean this gun last night. I cleaned it up the way I normally do, and I worked the double action quite a bit last night. When I first pulled it, there was quite a bit of stacking. There is a little bit still, but it smoothed out quite a bit after doing some double action dry firing. So let me load up some different ammo and see how it shoots. All right, I got some Armscore 180 grain full metal jacket. Same thing with our black marker here. We'll see if we get any bullet creep with this. It's a very smooth trigger. That second shot actually went off when I didn't intend it to because it's such a smooth trigger. With this, I don't think there's bullet creep. I think it just, some of the marker wore off a little bit. I'll compare it to another round, see if it looks longer. And we'll see. Yeah, it looks the same to me. Even though we had a little bit more power with that. I may need to adjust the sights, because for me it looks like they are impacting a little bit left, but go single action again here. All right, it's hard for me to tell. Let me put up a new target there. I'll try some different ammo here. Extractor won't get those out because they're a little bit hotter, so I'll have to actually poke most of those out if I can't pull them out, and if I'm not using the moon clip. All right, I got some 180 grain cellular and bellet ammo. Black marker on this one as well in the last round. So let me try to be as accurate as I can here and see if this is still shooting left for me. A little bit low. Again, that trigger is so smooth. That last shot just went off before I was used to it. Yeah, and I don't see any bullet creep with that either. Very nice. All right. Most of those came out. Let me try the moon clips now. All right, so I'm going to try this full metal jacket with the moon clip here. Just pop right on. I'm just going to do more of practical, a little bit quicker shooting. How about some Mozambique drills? See how these feel for me. So just going to pull up to the body, one to the head, see how they shoot for me. Just getting a quick front sight picture. Moon clip pops right out. My reload is that cellular and billet hollow point. A little bit of a struggle to reload that. I'm not used to moon clips, that's mainly why. See how this stuff does. Alright, so it is shooting a little bit lower on that quick front sight picture, the one I'm typically used to. So that's pretty fun to shoot that. And it seemed like they all shot fine. So let me shoot the steel, see how this thing hits the steel. Maybe I'll try some 40 Smith & Wesson as well. Alright, so these moon clips seem to be pretty nice here. I haven't tried to unload one yet, but I have a kind of a larger caliber brass rod rather than use a special tool. We'll see if that pulls them out. They're very nice to pull out. Not a problem. You know, just pull them straight out, and not really a problem with that. So I want to try some 40 Smith & Wesson, and I loaded this moon clip last night. These two moon clips here I have. Actually I have three, but I load two of them. And I noticed that they actually load a lot easier than a lot of moon clips. I had some for my Governor, my Smith & Wesson Governor, and that one didn't load very easy at all. And obviously that Taurus one was terrible. This one I can pretty much freehand it. And just a little bit easier than what I'm used to. So very good moon clips. In fact, I can do it pretty easily without a tool. Got it done. It's pretty good there. So if I were to try to put a 40 in here without that moon clip, it's going to go too deep in there to fire. But our moon clip will hold that in place so that we can fire the 40 Smith & Wesson. So let me fire some 40 and some 10mm at the steel. See how they do for me. All right, 40 yards from the target. See if I make any hits here. 40 Smith & Wesson. What is this? This is their S&B hollow points. See how this does for me. A little low left for me. Alright, so in a big gun like this is very comparable to shooting like a 38 Special for recoil with that 40 Smith & Wesson ammo. Alright, I have some of this PPU hollow points. See how this does for me from 40 yards. It's real good for me. Now I have some more of these full metal jackets. Forget what brand they are. I fumble with these moon clips, so I'm not used to it. AUSA. I don't recall what brand this was. This has AUSA on it, so. Full metal jacket, 40 yards. It's got more punch to it. Alright, everything about this revolver shoots real nice for me, so I'll leave it at that. You know, I don't want to get any misses in there on that steel. And then in my video, I'll end on a good note here. So overall, it's a very nice revolver. It's as good as any Smith & Wesson that I've ever had. Weird thing about Smith & Wesson is, you know, I love Smith & Wesson. I've had several of the revolvers throughout the years. I even had a 44 Mag 629 at one point. I really liked that gun. But, you know, Taurus can be a good revolver. And when I released that video of the Taurus 905, people were bashing Smith & Wesson and be like, well, I've never had a problem with Taurus, and Smith & Wesson is garbage, and I had all these problems with it. You know, for me, I don't really have a problem with any gun maker. If they can produce a good quality product and I get that product and it works for me, I'm okay with it. Like, I got that 905 and the 605, I'm okay with that. But as history goes through my purchasing habits here, I've purchased more Smith & Wesson revolvers than I have Taurus throughout the years. And I have never once had a problem with the Smith & Wesson revolver. You know, I always hear these things about canted barrels or cylinders locking up and all these different things. Never had an issue like that. I've probably had a dozen Smith & Wesson revolvers for the past 15 years. Never had a single issue like that. I have had nothing but really good quality with all of them. I've only had to send one back in one time, and it was because that governor I had on I pushed the extractor. For whatever reason, some spring in there broke, and it would not retract the extractor back in. But I always looked at that governor as kind of a weird revolver, not even a normal revolver. A lot of weird quirks about it because it, you know, set up to shoot shot shells and stuff like that. Kind of a weird little creation there. But as far as all the regular revolvers go, I've never had a problem with them. They all shoot fine for me. So I'm excited to do some ballistic testing with this. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So that's our unboxing and first shots with our Smith & Wesson Model 610. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.